and welcome to the Business Management major section of the College Week Live presentation. We're excited for you guys to join us. My name is Jacqueline Rowe, and I work in the Office of Admissions, and I have a few guests here, and they're going to introduce themselves now.
Hi guys, my name is Christina Amadio. I'm a business management major specializing in marketing here at Stony Brook University. I'm minoring in journalism. I have an internship at Newsday where I work with the Newsday entertainment editor, and I post galleries online and make movie reviews. I also am a TA for one of the business introduction classes. I took it as a sophomore when I came into Stony Brook when transferring from Adelphi. It was a good class to take because it got me acclimated with campus and different departments that I found myself needing to find during my, looking for different offices. I teach figure skating lessons at the rinks, which is in Hop Pod, pretty close to the school, and I am a New York Islanders ice girl, so I go to Islander games and make appearances in the community at blood drives and different community events.
Well, hey guys, I'm Nick Heyman. I don't know if I have as much info to say as Christina with all our jobs, but I'm also a business management major. I'm a junior, finance concentration, and I minor in applied mathematics and statistics. Here at Stony Brook, I'm in the Business Honors Program, which is a program that you begin in the second semester for freshman year if you're interested. Can talk more about that later. And last summer I also had an internship. I interned at Brookhaven National Lab as a finance intern. It was a good experience, and we talk about that more later on. Stony Brook's very conducive to getting you internship opportunities, so that's a great thing about it.
Great. So if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to post them on the website, and we will be able to answer your questions throughout the presentation. So we have our first question, and we want to know, why would you want to be a business major?
Yeah, sure. Business major, one of the main reasons I did is I think it gives you a ton of opportunities. In business, there's a lot of different areas you can go with in life. As we said earlier, there's concentrations that you can pick within the major. So you can pick to specialize in finance, marketing, accounting, or operations. So once you begin to take some of the general courses, you get to see what everything's like and what you're good at and what you might be interested in. And I like businesses dealing with people, so that's a big part of life. You have to know how to talk with people and learn and communicate with them. So it gives you a lot of opportunity, and I think it'll open you up a lot of doors when you try to go into the workforce later on.
Yeah, this is a great learning experience. What about you?
Same thing. I found that it's useful for just same thing, communication, and I'm specializing in marketing, so I really found myself interested in the advertising promotions class, and just understanding the consumer and targeting markets.
So we have a question about how quickly can a student enter the Honors Business Program. So Nick, can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I came in at Stony Brook, my first freshman class, everybody takes Intro to Business. Usually, if you begin to major in business in your beginning semester. So we took a class and we had a letter, and it was the first time that the Business Honors Program was offered in its current incarnation as it is now. It might have actually changed recently, so they changed it up. But basically, you take an Intro to Business class, and you take Writing 102 or Writing 101, depending on what level you get in the beginning. But once you do that and you get a certain grade, you have the opportunity to apply for that, and you would be able to start in the second semester of your freshman year right away. So you go through an application process, you interview, and then hopefully if everything stacks up in your application and your interview, and you can get in and you start right away in the course load second semester of your freshman year.
Great. So listen, we have another question. Are you part of marketing? If so, what could you talk about a little bit about your experiences in the marketing concentration?
Well, I really enjoyed that advertising and promotions class, and it helps me with my job with the New York Islanders, because it's kind of the same thing, and I find myself using different skills that I learned in that class for my actual job. So everything kind of feeds off of each other.
And why did you pick your concentration?
Finance, I don't know, ever since I was little, I'm into sports, and I've always been into statistics and numbers, so numbers leads into finance, and things important. Everyone wants to know how to learn and make money and figure out where it all goes, so it's a big part of life, so that's why I did it.
Can you guys tell us a little about your internships?
So my internship at Newsday, I actually got through meeting someone with my job, but I know that the Career Center helps. You can find internships like directly related to your like to business. So you can take Business 448 and that can be like your internship, and then also go to the Career Center, find something you're interested in, and test it out, see if you like it. So they're really helpful there.
I think ZebraNet is a really great resource for students to be able to find all kinds of job opportunities, both on campus and off campus. Internships, actual jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs. There's a lot of things people can get involved with.
Yeah, and just going back on that, you can use the Career Center as a great resource to get an internship, but also you don't feel restricted that that's your only option. You can go on other sites that get you jobs, and Career Center might lead you into the first step, but you might have to do things on an individual basis and kind of work harder to get that extra step and get that interview that you might not get by just clicking and submitting your resume online. So.
It's different too. Instead of like sitting in a classroom and getting that experience, like going out and doing like what you see yourself maybe trying to do in the future, just like a different environment.
So we have a question about what kind of other internships do you know about? Do your friends have any internships in the program?
I could talk. None of my friends, internships mainly focus probably your junior and senior years. If you want to get it earlier, there's nothing stopping you. It's really good to get a quick start. But my sister actually went here. I have an older sister, and she graduated 2 years ago. And through she interned at the Career Center she was in marketing, like Christina. So she interned at the Career Center and worked there in their marketing department, had whatever they do. And then that kind of led on to her getting an internship with Canon USA in Melville, the camera company. I don't know if anyone doesn't know Canon. The camera company. So she did that, and she worked hard over the summer, junior into senior year, and they ended up offering her a full-time job. So she's still working there now, so she likes it, and that all started with an internship that was facilitated through Stony Brook. So that's a pretty good success story, I guess, if you want to say, for school. So.
It's a pretty good success story, I would say. So what happens if a student's not admitted to the business major, but they do eventually want to switch into one? Have you guys talked about ever switching into it? Nope. So there's prerequisites that any person can take when they're going into the business major that you have to complete in order to then declare it. There are now some courses basically on the PowerPoint that you can look into. Taking math and intro to business and things like that, and then attempting to declare the major, and then they approve it in order to be able to get the major at a later time. So our next question, it looks like, why was fitness your first option? Wait, was business your first option?
Business was my first option because it is so broad and you can kind of just get a feel for it and then really dive in and see what you kind of want to do. At my old school at Delphi University, it was just like business management or marketing, and then here, like, you can really pick that specialization and see what you want to get into. So it's kind of cool.
That kind of leads into a good question of why did you pick Stony Brook and Stony Brook's business program over any other options you may have had?
Like as opposed to my other college?
Or any school.
I felt that, well, it's closer to home and I do commute, so it was going between my jobs and like fitting and having school too. It was just made sense for me, and I'm really enjoying it so far, so I'm happy here.
And you've been here since a freshman?
Yeah, I have been, and like Christine said, I live 20 minutes away, so save down on dorming costs, and
there are business students who dorm here.
Yeah, both options are fine, and it saves me money personally, but yeah, and I started with business right away, and I've stuck with it, so that should be a good sign for the program in general.
Nick can stick with it, anyone can.
That's right.
So next question looks like, what kind of clubs are there associated with the business programs on campus?
Yeah, there's what is that, American
Marketing Association?
Yeah, there's that. I know there's NABA, National Association of Black Accountants. One of my friends runs that, but he says it doesn't matter race or anything like that. Anybody can join. It's just a title and the name. And I think there's
a fraternity, like a business fraternity.
Right, yeah.
Business fraternity. That's kind of like I think an honor society that you can join too.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that's like I think it's strictly like a business fraternity. It's not. Yeah. It's not a frat.
It's like an academic one, not like a social one.
The normal sense of the term, but there's a bunch. There's a bunch of things you can do to get involved. So.
Well, speaking of which, we have another question for commuters especially, but how can you guys get involved on campus? Do you feel like you just go to class and go home, or do you feel like there's more things to do around here?
Well, when I transferred here last year, it was just like a lot larger than my last school, so I found myself going to class and going home, but that's like not really what I was used to. I like getting involved with my school. I wound up joining a sorority here on campus, Sigma Delta Tau. So we fundraise for our philanthropy, Prevent Child Abuse in America, and it helped me meet like a bunch of different girls that I can like go get lunch with if I have a break between classes, so I don't have to go home or like go to Jamba Juice or whatever. So or going to a game or anything. So.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of it is just putting yourself out there
Yeah.
in the beginning. I know in the beginning, like Christina said, when I was a freshman, I'd come in, my classes would end at, I think, like 11:30, which that's not the norm. You're probably not going to be done with your classes at 11:30 a.m. every day. That's what it was like me for the first semester. And then I went home, and I didn't really get to know anybody, really, but then I started getting more involved. I'm into sports, so we have a great campus recreation center. If you guys don't know about that, so I go down with my buddies, and we play pickup basketball a lot, like 3 or 4 times a week, so that's been fun. And do that, but there's tons of options for you to do whatever you want to do. There are so many different clubs that fit a lot of interests, so definitely a ton of opportunity.
So it looks like we have questions about sports business. Like, how would you get an internship with a team? I know that you work for the Islanders. It's not quite the same as having like an internship. What else? How else can you get involved with actual sports in the local area as a business major? You guys know anything about sports management or anything like that? I mean, I wish there was a major for sports management. I would major in that, but I know a lot of stories that. Can you gear it towards something that you're interested in now?
In what?
Like, can you gear the majors that you have towards places that you want to work for?
I would say so. I know, me personally, doing with finance, thinking of baseball, salaries and money play such a big factor. I know big time executives and employees, they start as little meager interns and they go all the way up. But yeah, using your business acumen, and personally I applied to Major League Baseball and tried to get a finance internship with them. Haven't heard back from them, so not the best. But yeah, just looking online, the Career Center really, I haven't seen many. You might be able to find some of the Islanders because they're the only local professional sports team. Probably only a year left because they're leaving, but not to dampen the but yeah.
I have a season ticket holder friend who's not very happy with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So what about the master's degrees? Do you have to have a master's degree to continue on in business? What are the options here?
I don't.
So I know that there is an MBA on campus, but you can basically major in almost anything else in order to get into it because you really want to feed the major with something that you're interested in. So for example, if you wanted to go for athletic training and then go for a master's in business, you could do something like that. You could go for music and then go for a master's in business if you want to get into the music industry. There's a lot of different options, but you definitely don't need or require to get a master's in order to go into the business field. I think you guys have found that, especially with graduates. And they do have a lot of opportunities for students to find opportunities on campus. There's a ton of job and internship fairs, which maybe you guys could talk a little bit about, where places come to the campus to recruit students, to do kind of interviews or test interviews for both internships and job opportunities. Have you guys been to the job or interview?
I haven't yet, but I really want to go because a couple of my friends have actually went and like bring your resume, hand it out, cover letter, and I mean, I think one of my friends actually got her internship through that.
You were able to either?
Yeah, no, I've been to a couple of them, and when I mentioned my sister before, I don't know. Everyone's saying sorry bringing the family, but she actually got her internship with Canon through the job fair. So like Christina said, you go around, it's a big booth, like 90 different companies come, and you just dish out resumes to whoever you're interested in, and hopefully they contact you. But yeah, but no, a lot of companies recruit for graduates coming right out of school. You don't need an MBA, and a lot of companies like it when some kids right out of college go and work for a couple of years and then they go back to school to study. So I think there's a bunch of options you could go for.
Great. So we have a question for Christina. Why did you pick a journalism minor?
I kind of wanted to maybe be like a broadcaster or something. So it was kind of fun. So I took the well, coming in as a transfer, like they really pushed the whole news literacy class, which is cool. So I took that class, so it was great. Wound up really being interested, like staying on top of the news. And I feel like business and like journalism, you're gonna need, for business you need to know how to like write well, speak well, and it kind of just like went together, so decided to pick it.
Great. how can you kind of tie in other minors or majors and things with like the business outside of journalism? What other things do you think go really well from your friend's experience, from your experience?
Well, I think with business, like you have to have a minor that's non-business related.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my advice may be something that you're interested in learning, something that like you might find fun. So, like you take all your business classes, which are cool, and then like you have something else that's non-related. So we have a question. Can you talk about the news literacy course? And it's kind of like a big lecture, and then you have like your recitation class where you really go in depth on different things that are happening in the news. You're reading like a lot of articles about just like current events. There's like an essay at the end you have to write, but that's cool. It's like a contest. If you win, you get like a free semester of tuition. I didn't win, but I mean, I tried. It was cool. Yeah, so it's a good class. Beneficial.
Great. Looks like we have a question about AACSB accreditation. Do you guys know what the accreditations for the program are? I know that one is currently in progress and we're working on building it up. But basically our business program is very well respected and we have a lot of people who have found some great opportunities, but we are working on building the accreditations up as well. So let's see, any other questions? The high school requirements, it seems to be an interest of students, of what you have to take into get into the College of Business. Obviously, you have to have at least algebra, which is the basis for kind of the math. Statistics can be helpful, as well as just the general college requirements, which is your histories, English, math, sciences, things like that. And of course, any internships or anything you want to include in your application can be really beneficial as well. Okay, we also have a question about what is your favorite thing about Stony Brook? So, go to you guys.
For me, it would probably be, aside from the academic experience, it's been good. I've learned a lot in all my different classes, and I've enjoyed the major. But my favorite thing would probably have to be, I mentioned it before, I use the campus rec center a lot and playing basketball and meeting different people playing that and making new friends. And people think there's a stigma that you come in school and you commute and you don't really get involved and it's not a traditional college life, but that's definitely different. It's far from the truth, and I've been able to learn a lot and meet a lot of new people, so that's been definitely one of my favorite things about school.
My favorite thing about Stony Brook is just the fact that it's like really close to my house, so when I do commute, I mean, I could just like run home, whatever, but
That's a good thing too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really big. If you trip or fall, like you embarrass yourself, like there's all these people, but maybe you won't like cross paths with them again. They'll be like, oh, who's that girl who's on the bush? Happened to me once. No, but realistically, I mean, the teachers are great. The classes here are good. They're professors really help you out, and they really want the best for you, and yeah.
What are the average size of your business courses that you've been in? Have they been big, small? Have you gone to like small groups?
Well, like maybe like 30, 35 people, but yeah, you really can. It's about like reaching out to a professor too, and like getting to know them, meeting them at office hours. If any questions, like they'll reach out to you.
Yeah, I would just touch it back on class size. The business actually, I would say it's smaller
Mm-hmm.
on average
Not as big as you would.
than the other classes that you
Yeah.
might take. Say you come in and a general class like news literacy, that's a lot of people, right?
Yeah, it was
I mean,
big.
that's
Like
in a
bio
big,
classes are probably like the chem or like big lectures.
Mhm.
those might be 500, 600
Yeah.
people. No business classes that big. So.
Right, because not every one of your class is going to be 500
Right.
for the entire 4 years.
Some will, but not most.
Can you tell us a little bit about the news literacy class? Why you took that and you were interested?
It was just recommended, so I mean, I took it, wound up really liking it. So.
Great.
There's a question, what's the food like on campus? It's good, and I really find myself eating at the Wang Center a lot. I like their, what is it, the chicken teriyaki and like fried rice. I go there all the time. It's like, where's Christina? Probably at the Wang Center. It's so good. My friends make fun of me because it's like whenever we have to decide where to eat, it's like I always go there. But then there's also the Sac, and there's like pizza, and there's a Wendy's here, Red Mango, I know. We just got North Market Fresh, which is like, maybe stuff that you're like, would think your mom would make, like steaks and like,
I actually
family
just saw that the
dinner.
other day for the
It's
first
cool.
time. It was a lot of steaks and meat, and you're like, hey, someone will make you food, like a mom at home.
Yeah, that specific place too, the Roth Market Fresh. I was taking this marketing research class, and we wound up basing like our studies for the class on different things that would work, like color scheme for the dining hall, and it was cool. So it's like kind of like what's happening on campus, like we kind of made that happen, like seeing what worked and just, it was cool. Come back and see if it's still like that, or new students found something different. That's always changing.
So what are the benefits of going to a relatively large school like Stony Brook?
There's definitely a lot.
Diverse.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Diverse.
It's extremely diverse. So
Like
you
the
get-
business community?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
Meeting a lot of different people.
right. And just learning about different cultures too is pretty amazing. You get to learn to communicate. Majoring in business, we said before, communication skills are important. So learning with different cultures and different backgrounds and learning how to communicate with them it was pretty eye-opening. But you get used to it, and it's only for your benefit in the future. So.
And even going back with like clubs and stuff is if you have a group of friends and you guys are like really adamant about like hula hooping or something, I'm sure you can start your own stuff. So you can like start your own club. Yeah, I just think you need like a couple people and then you can
I
make
think
it
it's
happen.
4,
Yeah.
which is basically the executive
Anyone
board.
wants to hula hoop, like, I'll join. That'll be cool.
So next year, we're going to get a hula hoop club started, and it'll be hula hoops for business.
Right.
Let's see. Do you ever have great
Guest speakers.
Oh, guest
from
speakers.
Corporations go to Stony Brook and give advice to business major students.
I've had a decent amount of guest speakers come with the business honors program. We have a lot of people talk. We had somebody from Dale Carnegie give us a big presentation about public speaking. We had a employee that worked in Morgan Stanley in the financial and the stock Wall Street industry for 20 years, talk about all of his experiences. So a lot of people come back, and I think a lot of alumni now, because Stony Brook's on the rise and it's becoming more of a prominent institution in the national eye, a lot more alumni I think, have a little more pride in where they went to school. Maybe then it was different back 10, 15 years ago. So they come back and they tell their success stories of, oh yeah, I went to Stony Brook, look where I am today. So it gets you motivated and makes you feel good about your decision and where you are right now.
Actually, it brings up a good point. Can you tell us a little bit about the people who come to visit the campus, the lecture series, the different events we have? I know we have someone coming who's a theoretical astrophysicist, and I can't pronounce his name, which is embarrassing.
He's on TED Talk videos.
Yes, TED Talks. He's done
name.
introductions for the show Fringe,
Oh, okay.
which my husband just told me about. But what about, have you guys ever been to the lecture series or anything like that?
I
And we just had Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight.
From the office. There you go. Business, it all ties together.
That's huge. That's huge. There's concerts that come to Stony Brook, lecture series, prominent people. But yeah, it's going to be only more interesting and probably more popular people as we get to the future. So definitely interesting. People come down.
Can you tell us a little bit about the favorite classes that you've taken, either business or not?
Well, I'm really pushing this advertising and promotions class. I really just like the project we did at the end. It was like throughout the course of the semester. Me and my group actually did it on J. Crew, and we were retargeting their market. So we made it like a like the Victoria's Secret pink, but like for the college kids. So we created Crew U, and it was just like it was fun. Like I feel like I wasn't in class. I like actually want this to happen. Like I want them to have Crew U.
Yeah.
But it was cool. And then also a consumer behavior I'm taking right now, which is fun.
I think my favorite thing about Stony Brook is how many people you see wearing Stony Brook paraphernalia
Yeah.
on the campus.
Favorite class that I've taken, it was a finance class called Investment Analysis, and it was pretty interesting because getting now as the economy might be a little tougher, it's more important to know where to put your money in the future. And I know it's weird thinking, I was like 18 years old when I took it at the time, and I'm not thinking where I'm going to put, the $100 I have to my name now. But later on, it was interesting to see how people can work with their money in stocks and put it in mutual funds and hedge funds. I don't want to get too detailed on you, but that was interesting. I learned a lot from that and learned a lot that I would use more as I get older and older. So
I won't release my age, but I wish I took a class like that because I think I just did that like 4 months ago. But it's really important and a great class to take. I think a lot of them have a lot of practical application,
Yeah,
would you say?
definitely.
So it's interesting. So you have a question about group projects. How often do you do group projects in your business courses?
I guess it's really up to whatever the professor wants. I know I've done a bunch of group projects, but if you're like worried about you're doing all the work and this kid's not doing the work, like it's not really like that. It's all based like kind of on your individual performance. But I mean, that's also how you're meeting kids in class and like really getting to know like different students and so cool.
Yeah.
Everything's cool about Stony Brook. I find myself saying it a lot. It's cool. It's cool.
But group projects are also important because if you move on to an internship and a job, you have to learn how to work with people. That's the #1 skill everybody says. So that's definitely important. But yeah, you get to learn that and do all that. So.
Interpersonal communication. Here we go.
Or enter on digital like we're doing now.
Exactly. Yeah, I took business courses when I was undergrad, and I can tell you that social media and digital was not really a thing. So one question was about the AP Economics and how beneficial that can be as a business major. AP courses in general are really beneficial at Stony Brook. We really, really value taking rigorous coursework when you're in high school, especially when you're applying for a program like business. Did you guys take any AP Economics courses?
I took AP Economics as the question was asked, and actually I think if you meet a certain requirement on the exam that you take, you get to bypass it. So I didn't have to take economics here, which is a course that you need to fulfill for the business major. So that might be a plus. I don't know. You said, will it help you with deciding if you want to major in business? Maybe if you don't do as well on it, you might want to go into business and not economics. Yeah, but like I said, that was helpful taking it back in high school.
Okay. So next question is, who is your favorite faculty member in the business program?
That's really hard to pick. I mean, everyone's so helpful. I really, I don't know, everybody. I mean, I don't really think I've ever had a professor that I didn't like, so I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah,
It can be important.
Don't want to offend anyone in case anyone's watching.
Grades
But
are like
I know in the business honors program we have a professor, Margot Palermo, and she taught me through. I had a class with her every semester through last semester, so 5 semesters I had a class with her. And she was so nice, so sweet, but she also knows how to instruct and teach and get us to learn better. So if you apply, take intro to business with her if you can. She was a great professor.
What courses are you guys looking most forward to taking in the future?
Right now I'm taking business statistics, and it's like a big class, I guess, for Stony Brook business majors, and it's a lot of work, but I feel like really interested in the class and what I'm learning. Yeah, so I feel like understanding like how things work. I mean,
Touching on, I took business statistics. I think like a year ago with Shane. Yeah. It's really helpful. Some people get a little intimidated by it because they hear statistics and they think heavy math and things have to do with that. It has some numbers and it has a pretty decent amount of math, but it's very valuable as you go on because everything in business, no matter what you do, marketing or finance or operations, numbers come into play somewhere. So
understanding data.
Yeah, learning that is definitely beneficial.
So basically we're just going to wrap up with the final question about what's been your overall experience at Stony Brook, both as a business major and just as a student?
Well, I love it here. I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I feel like every class that we are taking, it's like cool when you can, like recall something like in your principles of marketing class, and it's like, oh, we're talking about consumer behavior, and everything kind of like just flows, makes sense. So.
Yeah, and Christina said, I mean, it is pretty cool. It's a cool place. But
I'm gonna pick a new word.
Projects.
In all seriousness, I've learned a lot. I mean, group projects have been beneficial. That has helped you out. Internships, you're going to need them, and learning the different classes. You get a taste of everything before you pick your concentration, so you get to feel out what you'd be interested in later on, and just doing that in the future. Hopefully Stony Brook can help, and they do a great job doing that, facilitating you, trying to get an internship, get as many internships as you can in the summer. Companies really want to see that, and hopefully get a job, maybe go back to school, maybe go back to the MBA program here.
Yeah,
who knows, and that's a good option. But college of business leaves you a ton of options that you can go with, and I think that's one of its greatest features.
Well, thank you guys so much. This has been a great presentation. We appreciate all the questions. We're so glad you came, and we'll be starting again at 7 o'clock with Student Life. See you then.